stamping friends, Jackie Bolhuis. I have a video filled with tips today. We're doing a simple card, but we're gonna have tips for using Stampin' Blends. We're gonna have tips for using the cake builder punch. We're gonna have tips for using the rectangle stitched framelits and how to make a window card. I know that sounds like a lot. Oh, and we're gonna talk about different adhesive. It sounds like a lot, but honestly, the card is really simple. We just have a lot of little steps to it, and it's gonna be this beautiful card that is gonna dazzle your friends. So before I flip the camera down, just a really quick reminder, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. And if you like my video, please share it, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. That's what makes my day and makes me love to come to you guys two or three, usually 3 times a week, sharing quick and easy cards. So with that, let's go ahead and flip it down and get started. I know that sounded like a ton, but honestly guys, there's really nothing hard here, and I'm gonna share some quick and easy tips with you so that you're successful in making a fun window card. Now we're featuring the Piece of Cake stamp set, and that does come with a coordinating punch. You can purchase these together as a bundle and save 10% on it. I've had a blast with this stamp set. Now before we go any further and I forget, don't forget about our adorable little pizza box here made with the cake. And then inside we have 4 different 3x3 cards that are super adorable. This is this month's free card kit. Now, I know I call it a card kit, but it's kind of a project. We got cards, we got the adorable pizza box, great for a gift or just put a gift in here, you use these cards, but you can get this free with a $50 purchase by the 10th of February. You don't have much time left. So make sure you check out on my website. I have all the details. Make sure you use the host code to get the free card kit, and we'll be on our way with that. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. We're going to make a fun window card. Plus, I've got so many tips with not only that stamp set, but with blends and all kinds of good stuff. So let's just dive in. I have a scrap of Whisper White. Now I mentioned we're using Stampin' Blends. Now you want to make sure with the Stampin' Blends that you're using the Memento ink in the Whisper White cardstock. These are all made to go together so they won't bleed. You get the best coloring with your Stampin' Blends. So we're going to go ahead and just stamp our cake base on that. Now I should point out this is our punch, and it will punch out not only the cakes but the cake base. Now I know some people try to show you how to line both of these up so you can stamp them both, punch them both at the same time. That's too much putzing around for me. So I do one at a time, but you want to make sure you're familiar with your punch, that when we know this punch goes in this direction, so I needed to make sure my cake was with this larger, longer piece at the top so that when I go to punch it, it lines up super easy. Okay, the same with our cake. Now we don't want to punch them until after we color them because it's easier to color on the big piece of paper. But the same thing here with that cake, I wanted to make sure I went in that way so that I could easily punch it. So let's set our Memento pad aside and we're gonna do some coloring. Now with Stampin' Blends, as I've said before with my watercoloring, I am by no means an artist and I keep everything simple, but I love that I can get, cool looking results simply and without having, feel like I have to have all this artistic quality. So my way to stamp with them, Jackie's simple way, is do one section at a time, start with your light color, and then I put a little dark over on that left-hand side, come back with the light, and just blend it in a little bit. So we'll do one section at a time. This one we can we'll just do this whole thing here. So I did that part, and then we'll come back with the dark. And see, we're just putting it along the left here. Kind of did the center there to get a little bit more dimension. And then go back to your light and blend it in. Notice I'm using the bullet point, the smaller side, then just go over that. You really, it's a light touch. You don't have to press hard, but these just have such great blending. What I like the most, I was never a marker person because I didn't like the stroke marks you would get, and that's what your Stampin' Blends really eliminate. So make sure when you put your caps on, you push them down, hear that snap, so they're on there good. So there is our cake plate or base or whatever you want to call it. Now with our flowers here, we're going to do the same thing. They're pretty small images, so real light touch is all it takes. So I have lovely lipstick. We did the light, put a little dark on that left side there. We'll come back with that light and kind of blend it in a little bit. Same thing down here. Now I know some people like to do dark first and then light, and if that works for you, awesome. I don't know that there's really a right or a wrong way. You'll develop your way. But I try to almost always use both the light and the dark because that's what, you know, gives you the shading and gives you this nice coloring effect. Then I'm going to just take my light and I'm going to real lightly go over our little scallop edge there. You put a little color on our cake, and then let's go ahead and use the dark one, and I'm just really doing dots. I'm just dotting right on top of those stamp dots. They might not be perfectly on there, but whoops, close enough. Okay, there is our cake image. So now we can go ahead and take our punch, and we'll go in here one at a time, and we will punch out the bottom piece there. Then we'll come over here, we'll punch out our cake, and then set those two pieces aside. Because before we start putting our card together, the other thing that I want is we're going to make a cake topper. We're going to make this a wedding cake. So we're going to stamp Mr. and Mrs. and then the heart right above it, like so. I should have probably stamped that first while I was coloring, because we're going to color our heart the same way. So I'm going to do light, fill in your heart, come back with the dark, and then close that one, and then we'll come back and do our heart there. Okay, so there is our Mr. and Mrs. And for this, since we don't have a punch, we're going to have to just cut it out by hand. There we go. You can see I just went kind of around the words, around the heart, and then down here for the bottom part. We're going to leave part of this so it makes it easier to adhere, and we'll just kind of trim it like so. So that is that part. So basically we've just got a whole bunch of parts and pieces going on here. Now let's go ahead and make our window portion of the card. I have a piece of the basic gray cardstock here, and I have scored it already right in the middle so it folds nice in half. And then I am going to use our rectangle stitched framelits. Now I'm going to start out by using, and I'm not even sure what size this one is, but I kind of figured this is the size that fit my card nice. Now what I like about these is their proportions, so you get nice all the way around when you center things. These framelits I think are going to be a standard. I'm going to use them a ton because it makes layering easy. Some of you guys I know have always said you struggle cutting things straight or you struggle making even layers. Here's your answer. Use framelits. They're all coordinated. They all work together so that you can get whatever size you need and your layers. So I'm going to go ahead, run that through the Big Shot to make the window in my card. There we go. So we can just pop that out, pop that piece out. I'm going to save this, use it some other time. Now I did cheat a little bit, magic to TV here, and I did cut a rectangle out with a piece of lovely lipstick and you'll see why here in a second. Now you'll notice when you cut out, let's see if we can see it on here. With these rectangle frames, here's what we cut out. Notice that you get your stitching, and hopefully the video picks this up here. You get your stitching on this inside piece that cuts out, so if you're using that for layering, but you also get the stitching around what it cut out. So now our window has a super nice little stitched edge as well. So we have our lovely lipstick piece using the same die. We have this. Now, I know there's a lot of steps here, guys, but hang in here with me. I promise the card's easy. A scrap of Whisper White, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the one step up in the rectangle, and I'm going to put them together, sandwich them together like this, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot, and you'll see why in just a sec. There we go. Now when we pop this out, we've got our larger rectangle there. We have a smaller piece that we can use for something else, and then we have the piece that's left between them, and look at that. We have this great little frame, and what I'm going to do with this is go back to our original card. We're going to use a little bit of adhesive. Now, if you followed me before, you know I prefer the liquid adhesive. So very little, we're not coming out good here. Let's make sure we're not clogged. But I go around all the edges here. You'll see later when I put a different layer together how much adhesive. It's not much. Teeny tiny dots will do, yeah? Just get those corners. Now, one of the reasons I like this adhesive is because it slides around a little bit. So it makes it real easy to line it up right in that opening. Whoops, it's sticking to my fingers. And you can, if it's not quite where you want it, just slide it, get it in that opening, and then just press it down. Now look at the fun window we just made on our card. And this piece does have the stitching on both sides of it. So let's set that aside. Well, not really side. We're gonna grab this piece. This is a 5x8 piece of Whisper White cardstock. I have pre-stamped it in the inside for you. And don't worry about the measurements here, because I will have a link to the blog post that shows pictures of the card, but also gives you all of the measurements that you need, as well as a list of all the supplies. So if you'd like to make this card, I'll make it as easy as I can for you. Now we're going to open up our card base here, and then we're going to take this, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. Again, don't need a lot. The stuff holds fabulously. Make sure I'm not upside down there. And I'm going to stick this to the back of my card. Just kind of center it, top, right, bottom. Put the fold right over there by the seam so our card will close up like so. Now our card opens like this and like that. And then, remember the lovely lipstick piece that we cut out earlier? I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. Okay, here you can see. That's all I'm putting on there. And I want this to be right here, but to adhere it down, I'm going to go right through our window because I want to make sure I have it centered right where I want it. And then pop that up. And there we go. So there is the base of our card. Like I said, it's going to be a window card. And we've done our pieces so far, so we can open this up. And then let's just take the cake. Got to use dimensionals. You know me and my dimensionals. So I think we need to start with the base here. Now, with this one, I am using the mini dimensionals. And I struggle with these, so I just use my piercing tool to pick them up. We'll put one right there, and then one right there. And then if you have a hard time getting these off, which sometimes I do, sometimes they come off easy, sometimes they don't, the piercing tool actually works really good for that as well. Sure, I can't get them. There we go. Come on, there we go. Okay, so we know that this whole area peeks through really nice through our window, so we can stick that down, and then we'll stick our cake down, right, so it looks like it's right on top of the plate. And then we have our Mr. and Mrs. here. Let's see, we might need a little one on that one as well. So, you know, people always ask, why do I need so many different adhesives? Well, here you go. We've used mini dimensionals and regular dimensionals. And we're going to use glue dots here a little bit. We've used our Tombow multi-purpose. I think every one kind of has its own purpose. Now that's a little bit long. And actually, you don't really need that. I don't know why I did that. You can trim it off flat either way, because I'm going to just stick it barely underneath that cake so you can see the top of the cake. And there is the top of our card. So now, when we open it up, there's our cake. There's our little message with a few more hearts. And then the last thing I want to add is a bow. And this is the silver baker's twine. I've already tied a bow in it. And then we're going to use glue dots. Like I said, here's one more adhesive. But when you do a bow, I find the easiest thing to do is tie it. And then you go ahead, just pop it on there on your glue dot. Pick it up with the glue dot. And we're going to put our bow, whoops, stuck to my finger, just right up here in the corner to add that extra little touch. So there is our wedding card. It really was simple, guys. I just had a lot of little steps there, but I'm having so much fun making this window card and using these stitch rectangle framelits. So that's it for today. If you have questions, make sure to ask. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to get a catalog, I'd be happy to send you one. Check the link down in the description of the video and it'll lead you to a place where you can request one. And don't forget about our free card kit. You don't have a lot of time yet, but if you place that $50 order and use the card kit host code, you'll get this cute little card kit for free. So I look forward to sharing with you guys again in a couple of days. Remember, I come twice or 3 times a week. Well, I'm stuck on that twice. Maybe I should start doing it twice. Videos for you, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Have a stamp happy day.